Hello everyone, Credex here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. We're having so much fun that I'm playing on the weekend, which I normally haven't been doing, but I'm just honestly addicted. Like, all I want to do is play pYanodon's. It's so good. So you're probably going to see more episodes again this next weekend, though this next weekend, wait a second, what day? I think the recording I'm doing now, is this the Thursday episode? I don't even know. I'm pretty far ahead because of the stream as well. That got me a few episodes ahead, and then I just kept going. So I might actually be... Hold on. Wait, now I'm confused. Sorry, I thought I had... Is it the 30th that I have off or the 23rd? I have to look at my work schedule because I want to do the stream for the Auto Mall episode, and I'm excited for that, but I need to make sure I tell you guys the right day. One moment. So it is... I'm just confused. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so the 23rd is, yeah, perfect. Okay, so yes, November 23rd, which is in just a few days from when this episode comes out. However, I will have, timeline-wise, I'm probably going to keep recording these episodes, which means when the stream happens, there will be some things in the base that you guys haven't seen yet, right? Because, like, if I keep recording, looking at the calendar, 1, 2, 3, maybe I'll miss a day, but by the time that we get to the 23rd, there'll probably be 2 or 3 more episodes that haven't come out yet. But I will try to mostly just work on, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be weird. You guys will be out of time when you join on Twitch or YouTube, but it'll still be fun. It'll mostly be focused on the Auto Mall. I'm guessing that will take us a whole stream, by the way. It's gonna be pretty crazy. Now, I swear we connected this with power. So what's going on here? Are we just not... What? Did I forget to... Oh, these power poles don't connect. Oh. No, I didn't have that on my bingo card. I just trusted in the power of the Nexalit pole to always connect when 2 buildings away, but I guess that's not always true when the buildings are 10. So I guess they don't have a wire reach of 20. I mean, I can just look at that. They have a wire reach of 18. So yeah, 9x9 buildings are the biggest buildings they can span like that. Anyway, here's to hoping that our little janky fluid fuel build here is good enough. Did I need to make this a red belt? I did. I guess I forgot to do that part. Need to make it a red belt at least to like here. We're definitely making fluid fuel. And we already said there's no easy way to turn coke into fluid fuel, right? Well, there is. Wait. We can do acetylene. How quick does that turn into acetylene, though? I just think the space we need to make a bunch of acetylene is too much. But we've got... Like, what is the actual acetylene from coke recipe? Or ratio? I don't know why my mouth said recipe, my head said ratio. Alright, so if we're doing coke oven gas, and we already said we're getting 120 a second from that, if we then used that 12 coke to make acetylene, how much acetylene can we make? And that's going to be matrix solved. Then we remove that. 240. So I would need a lot of gasifiers and another 12 high pressure furnaces. Well, technically more than that. 14 high pressure furnaces and 19 gasifiers. But that would get me triple the fuel value of what I'm making currently at the cost of some limestone. And there just isn't another way to make limestone. We get some byproduct limestone from that slaked lime, but that just, we use that to make the slaked lime. So, I mean, there's really no other way. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of a lot. Given we're currently doing this, it would be more than triple the buildings, but we would get a lot more fuel out of it if we want to from that coke. I completely forgot about acetylene. I know some people exclusively use acetylene as their power production for fluid fuel, especially before 2.0 when we had easy slushy pipes. Sorry, I just need to drink some coffee here. So yeah, I mean, we could do this. I'm feeling more inclined to want to do this once we have weekend productivity all three of these steps. I'm feeling a bit more inclined to doing once we have beacons or tier 2 buildings or modules, some combination of those three things, then it'll be a lot easier. Okay, what can we make with cocoa and gas directly? Just syngas. Oh, right, and the outlet gas, stage 1. So then make stage 2, and one more time, remind me what stage 2 makes. Stage 2 makes light oil or ref syngas. Okay, good. Just wanted to remember what that was. Let's, so we've done this. This is kind of that experiment. Let's do a crude oil experiment. And by experiment, I mean like how much can we expect to, how much fluid fuel can we expect to get from like 100 here? So condensates, we turn into that, which we turn back into condensates. Which then, what is this, 250%? I'm just gonna start with 250. Is that the right number? No. Matrix solver. Now, if you ever wanna get this exactly correct, the way it works is it's 1 divided by the ratio. In fact, I should just be able to type in 41 out of 27, right? Or 1 plus that. 100 plus 41 out of 27. Oh. Times 100. So whatever 41... Let's just see if my math is right. 41.667 divided by 27.778 is 1.5. But didn't we just try 250%? And that didn't get it exactly right. Interesting. It's 300%. Maybe the ratios work differently when it's above 1 versus less than 1. Hold on. I need it. Wait, are there 2 windows open? Why is that not? Oh, I'm on Matrix Solver. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Come back. Okay, so this number, yeah, that's what I did wrong. So I needed to go the other way. 27.778 out of 41.667 is that. And then we need to do 1 divided by 1 minus that. It's 1 divided by 1 minus the ratio that you're using in recycling. And that gives you the ratio you need to change this one to. In case you ever need that math, it's 1 divided by 1 minus. Anyway, so that gives us this. Naphtha can go into tall oil, which we will do. And then we get the BTX, which is great. What do we do with residual mixture again? Oh, nice. That's the good one. We can turn it just straight into Coke. And residual oil and coking gas oil. And then the residual oil gets mixed with ash to make some more mixture. But it's a pretty bad... 2 oil makes 1 mixture, so that would only make 2 mixture. We get about 1/8 back, so that's maybe not worth recycling. We can just trash that. But then the coking gas oil also just makes Coke, but with water and steam instead of vacuum. And it's only about 1/6 of the amount of Coke. It's exactly 1/6 of the amount of Coke. So that one we could also, like, if we didn't need perfect efficiency, we could dump these two and just keep that Coke. But it seems reasonable to at least get this out of the 16 residual mixture. I might ignore the other 2. Okay, and then the high distillates. I mean, the real truth that's tricky is that we just want to provide the high distillates to the base. Because high distillates can do Well, high distillates can't do various things unless we get the turd. High distillates can only do naphtha. So high distillates always do this, no matter what. And then the condensed distillates, probably never going to make hydrogen with them. So I think we can pretty safely do that with them. So now we're cooking, so we got 5 petroleum, 27 tall oil, 31 naphtha. Wait, what? Oh yeah, that, we'll put naphtha to tall oil at the bottom. And then medium distillates. Directly, you can upgrade them to high distillates, but I don't think that's better. What do high distillates go to again? Oh yeah, we just did that. So high distillates end up going to... I'm actually curious. We're gonna separate out the naphtha to tall oil, because then we can just count, we can tally up the amount of... Also, does tall oil go to anything? No. No, tall oil is the end of the line for that fuel. But this petroleum plus tall oil is not bad. Just kind of seeing how much the high distillates give us compared to the other 3. Condensates gives us this plus, I guess that's it, right? Yeah, because we're... Oh, and the BTX. And technically the tailings, which eventually we get that cool recipe for, that one. That'll give us back 30 of the crude oil that we produced. Wow. And is there productivity on any of these steps? There is on this one? Oh my gosh. Wait, that can make an infinite loop then. If there's productivity on this step, nobody tell them that. That's almost certainly going to be removed when somebody notices that. Or maybe it won't be. Maybe they're fine with it. But that's an infinite loop, right? Because if this can have productivity, it only needs... I don't know what percentage we're at. But it gives you back so much of the condensates that you used. It only needs a little bit more before it's... How much productivity does it need? $100 condensates makes 100 refined natural gas, and 100 refined natural gas makes 66.6 condensates. So once we have 50% productivity, it should give us back everything. And then at that point, you just have infinite free naphtha with the cost of a tiny amount of gasoline. And you get back a lot of that gasoline. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So you can turn small amounts of gasoline at that point into all the naphtha you could ever want, which can then be turned into all the tall oil you ever want. So that is pretty cool indeed. For now, though, we don't have modules, so I'll ignore that. Anyway, I'm just kind of comparing fluid fuel amounts here. So, and the tailings can be turned into, you know, the cold water slurry, which then gets turned into benzene and aromatics. And that's not nothing. That's only 10 more megajoules, though, from the tailings. Does count. Does count, though. But the BTX and this tall oil is what comes from the condensates. And technically some coke. But that's what? 37 plus 28 is 55. No, 65. So 65 megajoules from the condensates. And then from the high distillates, we get 25 megajoules, roughly 20. We'll call it 26 megajoules. So the high distillates definitely give you less. And then from the medium distillates, we will go to stripped distillates, and then from stripped distillates, what gives us the most fuel? Probably gasoline, right? Can cumene go to any crazy fuels? Or just phenol and... yeah, no, okay. Fuel oil only has a fuel value of 800 kilojoules. Interesting. I think that's used for the Mark III fuel generators. But yeah, gasoline here's the way to go. Look at that. 1 to 2 and 1.2 megajoules per gasoline. That's definitely the way to go. Okay, but that does need some metals to make that fuel, but that's definitely the most fuel so far. 66 times 1.2 is going to be, what, like 78, 80 megajoules or so from that. And then finally the low distillates. Probably the heavy oil is the best way to go. 6. No, the kerosene's the better way to go. We don't have it unlocked yet though, but I will soon. The nice thing about the heavy oil one though is we don't need to use any metals. And that does give us more residual oil that might be worth using. Go back to that to get more coke. But anyway, I'll ignore that for now. Yeah, let's just plug it in. We don't have the titanium tetrachloride yet, but we will soon. Okay, and that's 75 megajoules right there. That's actually just as much. If we do the kerosene method, we get just as much out from the low distillates as the medium distillates. Technically at a cheaper cost because we don't use the tin chromium. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Anyway, if we turn 100 crude into fully fuel, this is what we end up with. We end up with a lot. We get gasoline, we get kerosene, we get tall oil, we get BTX, we get some petrol, and we also get some tailings and coke that we can use however we want. I was just curious how that all broke down. Hopefully my base has caught up somewhat in the time since then. This still isn't running. I'm really freaking out here. Are we still making acetylene? Literally all of these are running. Okay, not all of them. Not all of them, not all the time. Maybe I can overflow this into fluid fuel or something. There's gotta be something I can do that's easy and cheap to make fuel. What else can make gasoline? I mean, mostly light oil, I think, is the main way to make it. Cellulose and manure bacteria. No, let's work on our high distillates, because we're just wasting our high distillates over here. And medium distillates need the tetrachloride, but high distillates we can go without anything. We just need some gasoline. So, high distillates. And are we not providing the low distillates? What am I doing with the low distillate? Oh, I think I'm turning it all into heavy oil, right? Yeah. Yeah, the low distillates are just directly fueling the heavy oil, which makes the steam that we need. Once I have efficiency modules, though, and beacons, I'm wondering if we stop using this to make steam. We were using this to make cold steam because it was so efficient. And we got a ton of heavy oil too, and then we're using the heavy oil to make steam. And I do think we're getting some fluid fuel with heavy oil. Yeah, right here. As additional help. But I don't have room for more stations here is another important point. But yeah, let's, so high distillates just need light oil refinery and gasoline to do the things. And then we provide petroleum gas and tall oil. And just one more time, high distillates. They do nothing, right? This is the only thing they're ever used in. Yeah. And then condensed distillates. If we don't count hydrogen, this is the only thing they're ever used in as well. Okay. I'm free to do that. The only downside is I want to provide... There's a good spot for this. Maybe right here, actually. Because what I want to do is provide the things as non-fuel before we provide them as fuel. Right, these have no way to know which one the train came for. We were talking about that. We can't do a double fluid fuel provider without some fancy... Well, without some fancy footwork there. But this one can request high distillates. And then that can go into the requester. 75,000. And then this is probably the easiest way to get fluid fuel from my base right now, because I don't need to make the titanium tetrachloride. All right, so the high distillates, where's that one? That's this light oil refinery, and we need gasoline. I'm just gonna put it right here. Okay, so those are hooked up. This is gasoline. We request that. Negative 75,000. Okay, so we've got that, and then we do high distillates into multiple light oil refineries. I'll start with 3. I don't think I'm making... Yep. I thought that was the case. Not making light oil refineries. Light oil refinery 2. And I assume, yep, we got all the parts for that. Okay, so then gasoline and high distillates go in. And condensates and naphtha come out. And we do power. And these buildings are 9 tiles, so the Nextlit poles do work as we hoped, reaching across multiple buildings. And then, okay, so that's good. And then the next step was, wait, where was that? Distillates to that, and then it's gas refineries to break down the condensed distillates. But it's half as many. Should I just do 1-to-1 to make it easy? No, I don't think we need to make it 1-to-1 for any reason. I'll just do 2 of those for now. Okay, and then that gasoline ends up being the same gasoline. And we actually need to top up into this. So we'll have a tank. What am I doing here? And this is the gasoline that will top up to like 20%. Okay. To keep that running. And then the condensed distillates from here, or the high distillates. Sorry, wrong word. And then that gets us the 2 inputs, the gasoline, the condensed distillates is being dealt with, the gasoline is being recycled, so the only thing left is for the petrol and the naphtha, and the naphtha finds its home being processed in more light oil refineries. Now this one, I get naphtha from other sources, right? So shouldn't I just request naphtha to get a low priority here on channel 2? This was a channel 2 requester. Gosh dang it. I'm sorry, guys. I keep screwing this up. This is literally not the first time I've made this mistake. With this exact setup. So this needs to be the high distillates. This needs to be the gasoline. This is byproduct requesting. So get this out of here. Get these requests out of here. We want a normal request. Well, wait, do I? Now I've confused myself yet again. I mean, for this, we at least want to get rid of the train. But now I've confused myself. That would only be byproduct gasoline. We don't want that. We definitely want, like, normal gasoline request. And as for high distillates, it's only good for one thing. So there's no reason we would have byproduct high distillates and like regular high distillates. So yeah, we should just request the high distillates on channel 3 as well. Okay. But yeah, the gasoline will connect to that one. But then this wiring is wrong. And this needs to go to across one of these guys. Okay. Anyway, because what I was thinking is we could also do a naphtha request. Oh, how did gasoline get in here now? What have I done? I'm actually not sure. Must have been rotating undergrounds or something. Anyway, the high distillates are good, and the question is naphtha good for anything else? Yeah, naphtha is used in a lot of things. Right, okay. Including, at some point, when I get the molten chromium build, I might do this for syngas. It's just such an absurd amount of syngas. And the steam is cheap compared to once we have efficiency modules, and the chromium will be cheap once we have chromium 3. I looked into this, by the way. I think it was on the day off when I was looking at train stuff. I looked into this for a while. It's kind of crazy because this whole chromite pulp stuff is actually worse than just skipping it and going to... Which one was it? Well, basically there were 2 ways to do it once we unlock this. 2 ways to work towards molten chromium. I think you can just turn the grade 4 into molten chromium or something. Or no, you can turn the chromite sand into molten chromium. And we already have a chromite sand build. So this version is better than this version, the pulp version. But the pulp version gives you some stuff. It gives you these chromite fines or whatever, and those are used in the gold processing. And that seems like the best way to make gold. Which I assume we're going to need a lot more of in the chem side here. So essentially, we'll do the simple version at first because it's just easy to switch over. And then at some point, we'll have to build out the full thing to give us like all the extra stuff for gold. Anyway, so here, I think we want to request naphtha byproduct and turn that into tall oil. So we want to change this one into naphtha. Yeah. Naphtha. It's got 2 H's. I think my brain doesn't realize that it has 2 H's when it's just thinking about the spelling. Alright, so there's naphtha, and then this guy needs that tank, which will be built eventually. And then that tank will be the high distillates. Okay, and then this will be the naphtha, which will go across and down. But again, this one should be a another like top-up situation. To here. So that'll output top up 20%. This guy, which then feeds all of these. Processing. Naphtha into tall oil. Power to the players. And then we've got tall oil fuel, which we've already got set up here, which is perfect. I did do it here for a reason. It wasn't just total accident. Right, X. Sometimes does a smart. Not always, but sometimes. All right. I think that's good now, right? Yeah, those are actually running. Wait, we didn't hook up. What? How did I screw that up? Okay. Just totally forgot the input for those. Otherwise, I think we're good. The naphtha output is there. That's getting topped up, and then input to the tall, and then the tall is going out. Okay. I think that's it. Except the petroleum. The petroleum needs to be... Well, a couple things here. I don't want this to ever... Or do I? Ooh. Do I want things to be provided to the byproduct network or the fluid fuel network first? What's more important? Because petroleum does go into various things, but it's never... Well, I don't know what liquefied petroleum gas can make. And see, that one's pretty good. We don't get it till broadside though. But that, I mean, that's a pretty good way to make refined syngas. And is this a good way to make sulfuric? I guess it would be if you didn't have the other one. It might still be competitive. What's liquefied petroleum gas make us? Gas stream. Is this one of those like helium things? Dry gas stream, highly purified gas. Yeah, rich gas, helium rich. I don't know. Whatever. We're not worrying about that right now. The important part is I don't think we're ever going to request petroleum on channel 2, really. Like, we're not going to have like a byproduct, so I don't think I need to worry about that. I think we'll just do the standard, which is FP fungible. Actual fluid, petroleum gas, mask fluid, pressurized air. Provide priority. It's just the regular 5 to 10 is all fine. We're gonna have 3 steps here for the petroleum. So step 1. First, it will go into whichever one of these is empty. It'll go into channel 1. And that is this one. Okay. So that's here. Wait, what? Oh, that's the connection too. Okay. Yeah, we're ahead of the game here. I can trust my past self. All right, so then petroleum will come down. It'll go past here and get pumped into there first. But then past that, it'll overflow into here. But then past that, it'll overflow into a gas vent. Because this is a byproduct that we need to get rid of. I assume it's a gas vent. I don't have show hidden turned on. It's literally a gas, so it better be a gas vent, but... Okay. And that way petroleum gas gets provided as fuel. And then we dump the rest. Provided as itself first, then provided as fuel, then we dump the rest. Okay. I think we've accomplished what we set out here to do. Hopefully. That should get us some more tall oil. I guess we don't have naphtha on channel 2. Interesting. What's all our naphtha doing down here? Don't we have a bunch? Or am I making that up? No, it's up here we have a bunch of naphtha, right? What are we doing with all this? Because I feel like I'm dumping it. This is being provided to naphtha. Oh, this... I am providing it on channel 2. Okay. Oh yeah, we're okay. We're using it. We've used up all our naphtha, apparently. I don't know where it's been going. Where else requests naphtha? That's a good thing to look at. pH. All right, where else is requesting naphtha? Literally these two. This one's requesting naphtha. Wait, and this is the one that needs naphtha. Has it been running out? Uh-oh. I'm not making enough naphtha in the first place. Ruh-roh. Okay, what I failed to factor into this... Oh god. Wait. We gotta fix this. Hold on. So before... we need to be providing this naphtha to the base first. Oh gosh. Okay. We can do this. So this needs to be hooked up to this. And then from there, I guess it should be one of these. And we should only overflow that into here. So the naphtha will initially go to, and this one we need to make sure it's only on mask 1. So that'll go to 3 here. And 3, this guy, will be naph. I always do the TH wrong. Okay, so that's naph. And then we need to make sure we are adding to our second station a negative amount of negative 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 50 million. Okay, so that way we never provide this naphtha on the byproduct network, is what's happening here. This just makes sure the normal naphtha needs are met first. That's getting replaced with that. That pump needs to be powered. This pump needs, both of these pumps need to be powered. Okay, it's complicated, but I think that does exactly what we want. So this naphtha, we're using the high distillates to make naphtha for the base, and then that naphtha plus naphtha from byproduct naphtha from other parts of the base get combined to all get turned into tall oil, which then is always fuel. But the condensed distillates will provide petroleum gas to the base and then petroleum gas to the fluid fuel network. So I think that all is what we wanted. I don't know. It's possible I made a mistake somewhere, but I think once all this stuff gets built, we are good to go. Okay, tall oil from high distillates, done. Cool. Cool. Now let's get back to Navens. Have they finally gotten made? Oh, come on, really? We still haven't gotten any Petri dish shipments? I'm finding that hard to believe. What's been stealing all of our fluid fuel? Because it's not like... Is it really my smeltery? No, because those take... Compared to the glassworks, those are taking nothing. Like, glass is taking all of my fluid fuel relative to everything else. So that, and maybe, yeah, I guess antimony's taking a good amount. This is a lot of fluid fuel. I don't think there's anything else that spends anywhere close to those two amounts together, because the smelters themselves are only the same as one glassworks or one antimony mine. And then there's the salt mines take some, but even those are only like 20, I think. Yeah, those are only 20 megawatts, so that's like 2 glassworks. So that's nothing. So all of these put together are just not taking very much. Is there some other building I've forgotten that uses fluid fuel? I think so. I mean, these are using fluid fuel. I almost feel like I should put this at a higher priority over here. Like this is just not getting any. Feels like something's wrong. No. All the providers that are at 25K, I assume we're about to see a shipment show up right here. Here in a moment. Probably just got there. 3, 2, 1, boom. No? Okay, what is this? Wait, it's only on channel 1. Oh, that's normal. They're all only on channel 1. It's the requesters that are on channel 3. What is this one and why hasn't it got a shipment scheduled yet? Hey, we got some. Okay, there's the shipment. It just, I guess, CyberSyn spaces itself out. So it's not constantly draining the... I mean, look at how fast that's getting eaten up. That was a full train, and it's already mostly gone. Yeah, that's bad. That is the bad news bears. Okay, well, what we just did should help. What we just did should help. However, it won't help as much until the naphtha's backed up. The petroleum gas will back up. That one's guaranteed. You know, this is what I was worried about. Yeah. Okay, we need a small tank here and here, which wastes even more buffers. I'll probably bring that down to 50% then, or even 30%. And then this one, that one I can keep at 90. But basically what's happening is there's not enough tiles, like pipes, in this network. And so when it has a few hundred in it, that gets it to 90% just for a tick or two. And then some extra is leaking over. So like we've already wasted 2,000 petroleum gas here because there's only 3 squares. Once we have this, it'll never get to the 90% and then it'll get pumped into here first. I mean, somehow the overflow valve stole more than the actual tank got. So that shows you got to be careful. Overflow valves don't work perfectly when you're dealing with pumps and rates and stuff. Because of how fast the pie pumps are, you can run into problems here. But yeah, the good news is we have a lot of high distillates. So that is good for us. And where do the high distillates come from? That comes from the bitumen. And we are out of naphtha. Yeah, that's interesting. Do we get the naphtha back? 250 goes to only like 20 high distillates, so probably not. Yeah, that would only be about 15 naphtha. So we get some naphtha back, but not most of it, because we get very few high distillates from... I'm curious if any of these can have prod. No, not really. This one can. Okay. Cold water slurry. 2 benzene and aromatics. I think That's the only one out of all of these that allow for prod. Yeah. So that still means most of our naphtha needs to come from other sources. Fluorine and nickel and crude can turn into olefins and naphtha. Didn't we look at that? But fluorine's really hard to get right now, at least. Yeah. Such a weird... I guess that's a good way to get olefins, maybe, but... Yeah, the whole condensates loop really is the main way to get naphtha. Which, when I look at it that way... Okay, well, when I look at it that way, then that means we are getting our naphtha back, because... So we should be fine moving forward now that I've set that loop up. Because these make... Oh, they only make 25 condensates. Oh. Well... In that case... It runs this 3 times, right? So I do think we get 1-to-1 condensates to naphtha. Am I doing that right? We can see right here. 125 goes to 125, goes to 41. Coming from 41. Yeah, it is 1-to-1. So we get that 25 naphtha from the bitumen, plus we said there's like 12 more or something from the high distillates. How did the high distillates work out? Oh, but it was 250 bitumen. Yeah. Which is only 5/6 of this. About 20 plus 10. So about 30 of the naphtha comes back. Which means we need 40 naphtha from other sources, is what that means. For bitumen to run. Which... I don't know where all that's... I'm expecting all that to come from. My raw gas processing over here? Because this gives me nat gas... I guess no, the nat gas is not doing anything. This gives me naphtha and condensates, which again turns to naphtha. So that is 150 naphtha right there. But only when I'm using natural gas. By the way, when did I unlock this? I can just turn natural gas into syngas. Did I ever look into doing a huge amount of that? Maybe I did, but I didn't like it because of the gasoline cost. I don't know. So that's 150 naphtha. How much gasoline does 150 naphtha make? If we... Wait. Naphtha doesn't go into gasoline. High distillates does. Right. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I think I'm just running out of naphtha. Do I have other sources of condensates in the base? Oh, yeah, shale oil. Duh. Huge amounts of condensates from shale oil. Okay, that's where my naphtha is coming from. We're fine. We're fine. As long as the condensates are flowing from shale oil, we'll be fine forever. Never mind. Okay, I take it back. We're fine. I was freaking out about nothing. We got plenty of naphtha. Though this thing here says we don't, so maybe I'm wrong about that. It's also possible I'm not... How fast do these process? 260, 250. But remember, those need to process about 3 times faster than we produce. So those are only consuming about 80 of the condensates from down here, of which we're making triple that. So I need some Mark II buildings and speed modules, or I need to build another version of this, because I just don't have enough space to expand this by that much. So I either need to build a second version or do something else. Interesting. I also want to make elevated rails eventually to improve traffic, but I also kind of just want to get to tier 2 trains and see how much that helps traffic, because I think that will massively boost traffic. And here we go. We've got petri dishes, and here it is. Improved fungal substrate is arriving. Literally the first ones. Perfect timing. Boop, boop, boop. And our first Navens are running. And that's going to take how many minutes? 100 seconds. 300 seconds. Okay. 5 minutes. Beautiful. Okay, what's next? It says Sam. Are we ready for Sam? Uncle Sam here? Let's see. What do we got? So... I guess rayon and carbonyl we want to be separate as well. Okay. Rayon. One more question to myself. We already talked about this. Carbonyl we were going to make where propene is made. Okay, perfect. Did I not put that on here? I thought I had. I guess not. Or did I already make the carbonyl? Hold on. I might have already done that. Forgetfulness strikes again. Where? Yeah, I already made the carbonyl. Except it's not working. So there is that. Oh, that should do it. Okay, so that part's already done. Methinks. These inserters are backwards. Let's try that again. Better. That fills this. Goes to here. These don't need to be filtered. Though, you know, having them filtered seems like a nice idea. The chance of corruption is close to 0, though technically non-zero. But usually I'd fix it before a train got there, you know. But it's more just being able to see at a glance what this provides is kind of nice. So there's no reason to not have them filtered, unless there's a UPS cost to filtering them, which I guess I'm not certain that there isn't, but I'm not super worried about that. Cool. All right, so carbonyl sulfide is done, and now, and propene was only for that, and these are the ones that I think I'm not putting on trains. Let me just double check. I don't think we were putting these on trains, but maybe I am. Oh, rayon I'm putting on trains. Fatty acids we weren't going to for now. Okay, so what was this one? Organic acid anhydride is used literally in chemical science. It's also used in this hardener in prod sci, and then it's used in PTCDA. So I think I just want to make it in one place then and put it on trains. I might overproduce here. How much did we need? 1 per second for the amount I'm looking at. So I'll overproduce by 2 per second. Why did that break everything? I have to put it out here, I think. And then I have to go into here and hit that. There we go. Wait, why is that 3 now? Shouldn't it be 2? Oh, plus the 1 for the thing. Oh, that makes sense. But this is using 19, so we're overproducing by a tiny smidgen. So no big deal there. So that's kind of nice. Though technically it did bring us from 2 buildings to 3 buildings, which is kind of funny. That tiny smidgen is going to be 1 more building for us. But yeah, we'll just slightly overproduce at the SAMM location and then put it on trains. For the Paraline, that is used in two other things as well. Prod psi and pi 3. Again, kind of impossible to know in terms of amounts. So I will just overbuild the Paraline by, we'll say 50%, and we'll trust in modules and beacons later to be good enough. Because I don't have enough Navens anyway for that much more. But yeah, I think 6 buildings is good enough there. That's also a lot of benzene. I'm a bit concerned about having enough benzene. Okay. And then the PTCDA itself is only used in SAMM, so I don't need to worry about that. So then rayon's the only thing we want to set up elsewhere. And is there a good place to set this up? It's requesting 3 fluids, 3 solids, and making a solid, and there's really not much more to it than that. So I guess the most efficient is a place that already has either one of the solids or one of those fluids requested. I don't, oh no, what's this? We haven't been providing propane to the network. Wait, oh, hold on. Is propane not in the network at all? What's going on here? Who runs this base? I want to speak to a manager. Wait, this is the propane on the... What did I do? Is this a request or a provide? Oh, I broke my laws. We broke laws here. That propane should not be hooked up to this. Because that propane is the stuff that's in the container. What am I doing? Hold on. What's going on here? So we need first I don't really know what's going on. Okay, so that needs to pump over to this propane here, which is currently this one. So that can be moved to there. Okay, so propane first goes to acetone. We will have a better way to make acetone soon. We're finally getting to the chem sci world. But then when that overflows, then we pump that into this tank, which provides the propane to the base. And then other propane will just go to making carbonyl sulfide. Okay, I don't know what happened there. That was weird. That was super weird. I don't normally do that. That's not my policy, so yeah. I want to speak to a manager indeed. Anyway, yeah, let's just find a place that's requesting sulfuric and ammonia is probably the ideal. Then we only need to add in the carbonyl and the solids. Where has sulfur and ammonia been requested? I feel like there's a lot of places. This one has none of those. Okay, not there. Right here. Actually feels like a decent place to do it. I want to leave room to expand though. This is a requester we didn't even use, so that's perfect. So now we just add a provider. Multi-provider? Or bulk provider? How much rayon are we talking here? I don't think we need a bulk provider. Okay. Rayon. How much do we want to stack up in here? Probably 4,000. And then the requester is going to be on fiber, carbonate, and urea. Now, I could not use trains for the carbonate. Save myself the train traffic. Could just split this off and bring it up. Do I want to do it that way? Am I ever going to make carbonate in 2 places? And is carbonate a byproduct of anything? Carbonate is... Well, it is a byproduct of making the chloride, but we've already got that factored in. Because when we make the chloride here, we're already prioritizing that carbonate going in. This is out of CO2, by the way, because we're only using the CO2 that we get from something, right? I'm not requesting CO2. Didn't we say that could be a problem? And now it is. But we get CO2 from carbonate, and now we're going to be using carbonate to make rayon, which is going to be constantly flowing the CO2 to make chloride. So I think we'll be okay moving forward, because that means chemical science itself will allow for ammonium chloride production. So I think we're okay on that front. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But I'll take the risk. Okay, so back to the question of, do I steal from this carbonate? No, I'll just let trains do it. The tier 2 trains are going to be so zippy. I've got bunches of loaders here. It'll be fine. Let's just do this the right way. And request... Why is this requesting lime? Oh, no. Are we out of lime? Oh, no. That's just byproduct lime. I can't use this requester. I should put, something like, oh, not large text plates. But I should put like a, you know, BYP, like byproduct. So I remember when it's a channel 2, because that's really, I've actually made mistakes multiple times because of that. All right, so then I actually need a requester. Here. And that's going to be for raw fiber. I don't remember if we're making non-raw fiber somewhere. Say 24. Is that good enough? Yeah, more like 26. Urea 25 should be fine, and carbonate 23 should be fine. 74 stacks. I need one more of those guys. 84 stacks, good to go. Filter that because we got 3 things here. Now, does the requester... We don't have room in the request. That is acceptable because this is channel 3. Perfect. Okay, so we're also going to need to request carbonyl. There's another carbonyl? What is this? Nickel carbonyl. Fun. All right. How much? 342 a minute, 3,000 every 10 minutes. So yeah, we don't need too much. 35,000 should be fine. And then we'll get carbonyl up, and then we also need ammonia and there's another, that's a byproduct requester. And then we need ammonia and sulfuric. As far as rates, it is going to tax the sulfuric rate pretty highly. Guys, I just realized something. You may have already realized this. No one has said it though. But you may have already realized this. You know how we've been talking about how our fluid setup isn't good for tier 2 trains because the fluid wagons are half the size, so we can't really use them. So we're just gonna have to wait until tier 3 trains to upgrade our fluids. That's only half true. I don't know why I totally spaced on this. We get to use the tier 2 locomotive. Still. Even though we're not gonna switch to the tier 2 fluid wagons, we do get to switch to the tier 2 locomotive, which is a huge upgrade. Because the acceleration power is way higher, the weight is lower, and that's a significant part of the weight of a train. Not to mention the, I think the braking power is higher too of the loco. The loco is, where is it? Braking force 10 and 0.5. And the advanced is 12 and 0.5. Okay, 12.4 versus 10.5. It's slightly better. I guess it's the wagons. The tier 2 wagons have much better braking forces by default. But the acceleration power is massive, and the weight reduction is pretty big too. Because the wagon weight is only 1,000. So we're going from a vehicle weight of 3,000 down to 2,600, which is... I'd have to look at how that changes the acceleration curve, like how much time to get to max speed. I'm actually curious about the math on that. But all that to say, I hadn't considered that when we switch to tier 2, you know, locomotives, we do in fact get a pretty big boost to our fluids as well. Because they'll accelerate faster, they have a higher top speed, they'll brake better. It's going to be great. And it's mainly the, if anything, the biggest change is just the acceleration power. I mean, they accelerate 50% more power. So that alone makes the biggest difference. Okay, the ammonia will be here. Alright, so we're getting there with the carbonyl. We got fiber, urea, carbonate. Alright, and then these guys just chill out here. I'm not gonna do anything too fancy. I'm gonna do 4 of them. It's a little bit overkill, I think, but I don't know. A little overkill never hurt nobody. And then we'll just run that straight past because we'll use the beauty of 90-degree inserters. All right. Oh, I know. Never mind. I know why it didn't do that. It didn't remove the single belts because it wasn't a full chunk. Like, I did this. Like, if you do that, it won't replace them. But if you do that, it will replace them. Honestly, this game's it's too smart for its own good. Like, this game's so friggin' smart. It has so many quality of life features that we take for granted that just make our lives so much easier. It's ridiculous. And, you know, I've played this game long enough that it very much is like back in my day. We didn't have that. You know, this game does so much for you now that it did not used to do for you. Okay, this is the carbonyl. I forget which one was which. This was the sulfuric here. And this is the ammonia here. And then finally, this is the rayon. Output. You know what? I don't like that one bit. Let's just go here. We can do that. And rates-wise, actually, the fiber is kind of significant. So since the urea is not here yet, let's put the urea on board with the carbonate. And I actually need 2 inserters. And I actually forgot this inserter, so that's totally great. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna practice. Boom, boom. And that powers up everything. Let's check on Navens. Haven't looked at that in a while. How many do we have? Ooh, 21 Navens. Look at that. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Beautiful. Now we'll actually get some. Yeah, I should be good by an hour from now. Okay, I think Rayon is done. Is there anything left to do with that? I guess merge these. I'm a bit concerned that we have no urea. Actually, I'm quite concerned. Why do we have no urea? No, not here, right here. Okay, now I'm confused. We have urea. What's going on? The train just not gotten here yet? Oh no, it's coming. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that took way longer than I thought it would have. Maybe it's one that got it all the way from the southwest. I'm curious what the round trip time is for that. Maybe I should just hop in a train down here and schedule myself to go across and see how long it takes. Well, I can't do that with my personal train unless I add a wagon, which I can do, of course. But all right, today's gonna be another long episode. You guys love this, and I want some more coffee, so I'll be right back. All right. By the way, the reason I'm doing some longer episodes is to not get too many episodes ahead, because normally I was saying, like, I don't want to do longer episodes to make sure that I could keep up with the episodes. But now that I've caught this weird bug and I want to play more and all of that, like, if I'm gonna be playing every day, I need to not be making 2 episodes every day, because then I'm getting ahead, right? And so we have to do longer episodes so that we don't get too many episodes ahead of schedule. I'm okay with being like 4 to 6 episodes ahead. But more than that, and it starts to get a little awkward. Okay, so power. We had some spikes that were bad. We're doing a little better now. I'm scared to build more tidal because that'll hurt us. I think I need to chill for a minute. Okay, Rayon's waiting on carbonyl sulfide. How's that doing? Did I build it? It was right here. Okay, we are making carbonyl. It's just taking a minute. We should have enough. Oh yeah, very soon. We're almost at 25K. Perfect. By the way, fluid fuel, you know how it's been an issue? We haven't talked about this yet, I don't think very much, but the tier 2 locomotives, they use canisters as fuel, which is very annoying. So at the refueling sites, I'm gonna have to set up fluid fuel requests and then canistering on site, because the empty canisters will have to be unloaded, just like ash is being unloaded right now. Now, for some people, depending on how you fuel your trains, this can be a downgrade. because canisters only stack to 20, and each canister has 10 megajoules value, which means each stack in the locomotive is only 100 megajoules of, or sorry, 200 megajoules, which means in total, the full locomotive can carry 1 gigajoule. Now, regular locomotives have 3 stacks of fuel, and that can be anything, right? It could be any of those fuels listed. Now, I've been using raw coal, which only stacks to 150 megajoules per stack, because it's 50 times 3 megajoules. So we've had a total of only 450 megajoules per locomotive. So this is going to be an upgrade from 450 to 1000. Obviously, that's a pretty big upgrade. The problem is if you were someone that was using something like fiber, right? Because fiber stacks to 106 megajoules. So each train, if you're using raw fiber, could hold 1800 megajoules, 1.8 gigajoules. And then you're having a pretty big downgrade. And that means trains need to go refuel more often. As it is, though, we're going from 450 to 1000. But these trains consume more fuel, 50% more fuel to be exact. Slightly less than that because they take less time to get where they're going. So all in all, and the less weight also means less acceleration time needed. So all in all, they probably consume about 40% more fuel for the same runtime, if I had to guess. And 40% more than 450. So that means our new trains will be able to go for about 58% longer before refueling, and that's accounting for their speed boost too. So that's pretty nice. And our first rayon has been made. All right, we got rayon. Sweet. Okay, so now we are very close to SAMM. I mean, we're ready to build it. Where do I build it? So, actual request. We've got 1 geothermal water, so annoying. Maybe I build it near that geothermal vent. Where is that one that we like? There was a geothermal in the middle of train tracks. This guy. Yeah, build it over here somewhere. Actually, I mean, I could if I don't care about this rare earth ore patch, which I don't think I do. This is trashing area. Honestly, why not? And then I can just steal the geothermal water from right here, and I don't have to worry about it. It's only 22 a second, so it's a pretty small amount. I'm not worried about that. Yeah, let's do it. By the way, this freaked me out. I thought the train tracks were broken here. It's just the rare earth ores doing weird things. Delete that. Honestly, am I ever going to use rare earth ores? What's the speed of these? 0.75 a second. Compared to these guys. I already have one right here. Yeah, these are pretty slow, but I'll be able to beacon and speed them soon. And if I want, I can, and these don't take any fuels, and I can beacon and module them. What am I saying? Oh, if I want, I can productivity, but there's no point to that. So yeah, between beacons and modules, these will get a lot faster, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, yeah, we're never going to use this, which means I can delete it for my own piece of... Oh, I just can't undo that unless there was an autosave 4 minutes ago. How bad was that? Hold on. Rare earth. Okay, that's not what they're actually called. Is it? I've got one there. I've got one here. I've got one there. Okay, I'll be fine. Whatever. I've got another one there. Got one there. Okay. It's fine. I didn't mean to delete. I didn't even peg that thing was right there. We just deleted things right next to each other. Okay, and I didn't accidentally delete the geothermal water. Good for me. All right. So, definitely need a strong side here. And I think I'm gonna... Well, it is a solid provide for SAMM, plus... Oh, wow. No delay. We're right next to the auto mall. That's so nice. How many fluids are we requesting? 1, 2, 3, 4... 5... Okay. So I should do the Western strong side. Oh gosh. As far as amounts, is there anything I shouldn't request like a lot of? They're all about 1,000 a minute. The benzene and tar are really high. 5,000 a minute, that's a lot. And then the oleochemicals are pretty high, phosphoric acid's pretty high. So yeah, there's no small, tiny amounts of fluid. So I can definitely not worry about the 25,000. And then we'll just go in order here. So oleochemicals, and we'll boost that to 45,000. There's 10,000. Is that right? 44? About 2,000 a minute. Yeah, I want about 10 minutes of buffer. Okay. So then the next one will be phosphoric acid. We'll leave that one at 35,000. Then we want tar and benzene. And those need to be much higher. I'll do 75,000 for both. And then we need trichlorosilane. The regular kind. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure the regular kind. 35,000 is fine for that. And those were the 5 fluids. Boom. That feels good to not have to manage any of that. Yeah, regular trichlorosilane there. And then for solids, we need the, and I'm guessing we're gonna need some more space here. For solids, we need phosphorus pentasulfide at a rate of 66 minutes, so 6 stacks. We need navins. Very large amount of navins. Start with 35 stacks. Excellent plate. Somewhat ironically used twice in this build. Ironic's the wrong word. The better word would be coincidentally. Somewhat coincidentally. Plastic, filtration media. Is 25 ridiculous? Yeah, a little bit. 23 is a bit more reasonable. Filtration media. 3. Rayon. 3 minutes a stack, so 24. And then from there, that's it, right? Yeah. Okay, we just need these. Sorry, it's not it, but we need a special request for those because it's only 1 stack every 10 minutes. So maybe we do 100 minutes of production, aka 10 stacks for those 2. So alloy. Where are my alloys at? That one. assume those are the right ones. The icons look right. Promnissa, Nealtissa. Okay. And then we need to merge these. And C216 versus 183. Perfect. That means I can boost up. I was a little worried about the Naven's amount not being enough, so we'll go to 45 stacks on that. And the last thing is a station control, reducing the request size threshold of these guys to 10 and 10. That should do it. Finally. Where are the oleocams? So number 1. They are number 1. Okay, I know nothing about that old like meme video. I just know there was a big thing about we are number 1. I don't ask me to understand it because I just know it was a thing. It was like from some show. I don't know. Did like a lot of people like that show? I don't know. I never understood anything about the thing. I just know it was a thing. All right, and then the geothermal, we're gonna make extra of this and provide it. So throw those there, and then we need a provider for fluid. I didn't think about that. Is there one that I could steal? No, not really. Standard F provider for, what is this called? Anhydride? Yes. Yes, indeed. Alright. And I don't know if we want 75,000. Well, it's only 75 minutes. It's a lot, though, 75 minutes. How expensive is this stuff? Nah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so then oleochems are hooked up. The fatty acids are pretty chill. Those don't go anywhere except here. Copy. So fatty acids are hooked up. Let's get the geothermal water going across to here. Okay, and then this easiest way. So that is, wait, what? No way. I have geothermal water provided on the network already. Ha, that's funny. Was this me getting ahead of the game and knowing I'd need it eventually? I think it was. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, guess I outdid myself. And I'll just put, I don't know, a medium-sized tank here. How much does it use? 1,300 a minute. This really shouldn't matter because geothermal's constant. This is never going to stop for any reason. So, wait, I'm doing this wrong. Sorry. This needs to be. I don't know. I guess this is a bit of an issue, what I'm setting up, because if we, I think the way I'm setting it up means if we're low on power. But I don't think these consume enough steam. Actually, no. That makes 375, which is 180. That's exactly 180. 360 would be 180. These can only consume 360 geothermal, which means I will have 15 a second geothermal extra, even if power is at 100% usage. Okay. So we should be okay then. Alright. And we've got a nice buffer there of, you know, 30 minutes or whatever. So as long as power's not overdrawn for 30 minutes straight, but this wouldn't be running at full speed anyway if power's overdrawn, so we should be fine. We should be fine. Alright, and then this guy gets provided to that one is the first one, is the organic acid anhydride. Alright, and then the first thing would be the phosphorus pentasulfide. Alright. And then we'll extend our robo radius here. What else we lacking? We need the... what is that? Phosphoric acid. Now we're ready to build this guy, which also needs the phosphorus pentasulfide. There's a reason we built this together. How did I forget that this one needed phosphorus pentasulfide? I don't actually know. I like completely spaced that this one needed it too. We need a bunch of these. 6 to be exact. And this uses the phosphorus pentasulfide, navins, and nexalit. Nothing else uses the navins, so we'll put the navins on this belt as well. And then that way we can carry that across. The blocker in the way of that. Okay, and then we're going to have this guy, which is grabbing the navins and phosphorus sulfide, and then the nexalit will be here. And then we can provide the nexalit to both of them. Maybe I'll put those that end. I don't know, it saves me. We'll see if I'm running low on belt space or not, but if I am, it'll work. Alright, so that's there, that's there. I should be able to copy this now. Boom, boom. I see that one of those is wrong, don't worry. This is gonna try to grab bots. That's not a good thing. Otherwise, we're good to go. Tar, benzene. Okay, so tar is here. This is looking really clean, by the way. Benzene is here. I love this look when they're all lined up like that, and then these go in a diagonal. It's just so satisfying. Okay. And then we need the nexalit with, I don't know, rayon? They're definitely going to have prod modules as soon as I can, so I'll start with 4 of them. So we can get nexalit rayon, the other 2 on one more belt. Yeah, that's actually going to be perfect. So then this belt is going to be these 2. And then we'll have a nexalit and rayon belt. I will need to figure out. Rayon. I also have red belts if I need longer underground distances. Okay, there's the nexalit rayon. So this will go down, over. This is here. These will have 2 long inserters feeding. The rates are good to go. Trichlorosilane. those up. And then, how are we doing? That gets boom, 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 boom. We need the PTCDAs. Is it? Wow, we're getting there. Okay. These are unnecessary. These medium power poles. Because there's power on that side and there's power on this side. So those are completely unnecessary. Not so sure about these tar things. I have no idea what that's doing. It's coming from this tar miner all the way probably to home base. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to mess with that right now. But I sort of am, because I'm going to put these here. And I'm just going to do direct insert because the numbers are exactly the same. And yes, I can do productivity on both, so it slightly messes with the ratios. But what's cool about diet beacons is with the more AM FM beacons is that I can sort of mess with how the beacons are, where if each of these has a prod module, I can still keep the ratios correct, which is kind of cool. Because you can't do that. Well, I guess you sort of can do that with vanilla, especially now with the diminishing return beacons. I guess that's more doable. But kind of fine-tuning the speed boost so that if you have something that's 1-to-1, but now you have productivity here, well, now it's 1.1 out, but at a slower speed. And then this one is more out, but also a slower speed. So how much in does it need? And you can kind of fine-tune that now with the AM/FM. And the organic acid anhydride is this one. And I guess we just want to pump out here. Like that. Which does mean I'd be prioritizing the train network, but whatever. I don't know. There's like 2 other things in the game that need it. And then we need the filtration media and plastic for this. So that will be 1 more belt. Filtration media. Plastic bar. Uh-oh. That's a problem. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. This is 6. I'll just use red belt. Okay, well that was a little bit of a faux pas there, but this should be fine. Okay, and then we need to feed each of these buildings. Their inputs. Wait, that's a power. And that's a lamp. There we go. Okay, so that's the 2 solids and the 2 fluid. Why do we not have either of those yet? Well, I guess we don't have Navins for Paraline, but why don't I have... Oh, I don't have olefin plants. Well, that answers that question. Not here. Here. Alright, we'll go with 3 of those. And then check on Navins. Boom. And turn on my bots for a minute, and they can help me out. Wonder, did we have enough? I think we have enough. That's a lot of Navins in my inventory. Don't use my personal bots much these days. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yay! Alright. So Navins are now at full speed ahead, which is 1.68 per second. until we get a better recipe, with guts spoiling from time to time. Alright, 1,000 of them makes a train, so it won't be too long before they're delivered for the first time. And I mean, we're basically there, so then we need the output belt for SAMM here. And that will go up to here. That's it. And we've got how much? 11 a minute. So a train is 3 hours? Yeah, I don't want a full stack of this. I probably want, again, with 4,000. Ah, we have no... power here. Interesting. Beautiful. Olefin plants are going. Fatty acids are being made. We can prod that later. We can prod this later. We can prod this later. We can prod that. So this is a heavily proddable area, which is nice. Very nice, actually, because this stuff ain't cheap when you add it all together. So one of the first things we'll actually want to do is get tier 2 foundries unlocked, which is mining machines stage 3, which comes after excavation, which we also want. That comes after drilling fluid. So it's a few chem sciences in, but we'll be able to make them with all the stuff we've already got, so that's good. I mean, they're expensive, but it allows you to have 2 modules, and obviously having 20% prod instead of 10% prod is huge. Absolutely huge. And we're gonna have to go back to all of the things that foundries make and prod them, right? So intermetallics, productivity. Well, I guess we already have advanced foundries for that. But anywhere you know what? Never mind. I'm being dumb. Any place that I was using stone furnaces instead of foundries, I could use foundries now and put prod modules in them. But I'm not really using stone furnaces in many places. Like maybe for this, but that doesn't accept productivity. So there's quite a few, and all of the fluid ones required advanced foundries because stone furnaces don't have a fluid anyway. So I guess for the most part, we actually are fine. Yeah. But yeah, okay, well, I think we'll probably call it an episode there, as much fun as I'm having. Now it's just a matter of Navens building up. Once they're at 1,000, we should see our first delivery of Navens to our new build, which is... Where am I? Where's the new build? Truly, I cannot find anything. It's underneath the automall, right here. So, as soon as Navens get here, that gives us our Paraline, that gives us our PTCDA, and that direct inserts to SAMM. So we've basically got SAMM done. Just another 10 or 20 minutes till we get our first one. Boom. Which, if I'm not mistaken, does that mean we have everything we need for modules? I have all that. I have all that. Oh, Nextlit batteries and the EVA. I don't think I've made this yet, right? I want to double check. No. No, we haven't made EVAs. Ethylene vinyl acetate. So ethylene we are making somewhere, I think. Actually, I'm not even sure about that. We are making ethylene. And I assume it's going onto a train. Yeah, okay, so ethylene's good to go. And then we need vinyl acetate, which is just chromium and PFAs. Processed fatty acids. Which come from acetic and fatty acids. We do have acetic done. So that's actually pretty easy. It's just chromium, oleochemicals, and acetic acid. Do I put the vinyl acetate on trains for bio ore? Can later. I don't know. Maybe I just don't for now, but make sure I have a fluid provider. So we need the EVA, and then we need Nextlit batteries, which... We need spent Nextlit batteries, which use anthraquinone. Oh, that's expensive. Oh, no. Okay, well, now I know why we really, really, really want the cheaper recipe. We want this recipe ASAP. This will probably be the first one we do then. Because this means modules are costing us anthraquinone, which is the vanadium pentoxide. So ChemSci and modules will both be incredibly cheaper once we have this version. It does mean we're going to need a lot of anthracene. Am I up for that challenge? I don't know. I may need to do some more tar cracking. But yeah, anthraquinone, olefins, spent Nextlit batteries are not cheap. 5 Nextlit plate, a zinc acetate, which again is a ton of zinc and acetic acid, which is mostly methanol, a little bit of chromium. That's 2 chromium for 100 acetic acid. So this is 10 zinc, 2 chromium, 50 or 100 methanol. Zinc acetate's expensive. Nylon, not cheap because of the blood meal. Or wait, we're not doing the blood meal version. I think we're doing that version. Still not cheap because of the nichrome. So yeah, this is spent lead batteries are not cheap, and I don't know if we're making olefins yet. Have we set up olefins anywhere? No, we have yet to make olefins. Okay, so we need EVA, olefins, and Nextlit batteries. It's kind of our current path. And then we are on our way towards producing modules. Which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Man. And what did we say? This is going to cut down on output rate by what? It's 1.1 times 0.75. Yeah, it'll cut down output rate by about 18%. So we can add prod to a lot of things, but we just have to be careful the output rate doesn't get killed too much. Otherwise, we'll have to wait until we have beacons. Which don't require much more. Once we've got those going, they'll just need electric engines and Nextlit antimony. Okay. Interesting. All right, well, let's add some things to our list. EVA, Nextlit batteries. There's one other thing. No, I already forgot. It was a part of the Nextlit battery, right? Oh, olefins. Yeah, yeah. You definitely want that to be its own thing. Okay, so 3 more ingredients until modules. 3 more main ingredients. Some other sub-ingredients along the way. Beautiful. This has been a 2-hour episode. I don't mind whatsoever. If you guys are struggling to keep up now with all the added time, I apologize. I've just been having too much fun. And like I said, hopefully this Sunday, which is, I think, in a couple days from this episode coming out, we'll be doing a stream focused on the auto mall and making an auto mall guide video. And who knows, maybe we'll figure out a way to make this slightly more efficient, because it is kind of a mess. But that should be a fun episode, fun stream. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say goodbye. I just want to watch our base run for a minute. Oh, the Navens got taken. So that actually means we are... Here we go. We can watch our first SAMM get produced. Let's do that. Incoming. Here we go. First Paraline should lead to. Oh, we need a few more. Come on. Need 100. There it is. ETCDA being produced. And there you have it. Our first self-assembly monolayer material, which is the intermetallics of today's age, by the way. Just like intermetallics was a huge checkpoint, this is a huge checkpoint. Oh, there it is. There it is. How satisfying. All right. Well. Anything else before we go? No, I don't think so. Our base is really struggling with a lot of things. I'm hoping fluid fuel is catching back up by now. I don't know if it is. It looks like it has. Yeah, this has it back up now. And how's the coke oven gas going here? Are these filling up at all? Still not quite. There's only 30K in there. How's the providing going? That okay? No. We're doing okay. This one has 67,000. This one has 67. Okay, we built back up. I wonder if I just need bigger buffers for some of these. Maybe I make this one a low priority one. Use up the other stuff first. Because this one has a huge buffer. That's the only reason I say that. And it's always going to be consistent production. So if I use up all the other fluid fuels first, this one will kind of be the backup, and we can have a lot of train trips full of this one. And why don't I do 2 pumps? I'll fill a little bit faster when they're less... Because when these are emptier, they fill slower. And they'll be emptier a lot of the time because of, you know, the fact that this is 500,000 storage. And you know what? No reason to not add another one, to be honest. All right, we're definitely going to call it an episode there for reals. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments about self-assembly monolayer material and everything else. And as usual, I'll see you guys in the next one.